Hello, good evening, and welcome to the MCFC 9320 PUBcast. I'd like to welcome Paddy
Evening, Anne-Marie.
and everyone in the chat. I'd like to explain why Andy's missing.
Oh, you can't go into that.
Well, we can, because somebody went to Benner's this week and somehow, don't ask us how, was at the airport on time and managed to miss his plane. So that's why you've just got me and Paddy tonight. So as always, we welcome your chat and your opinions, and we'll obviously begin with yesterday's game against Fulham, which I thought, in my opinion, was an exceptional game on our part. We were patient, and we were rewarded with some great goals. Gavidol was brilliant yesterday. And while he didn't score, I thought Haaland had a good game holding up the ball and bringing people into play. And we got what we deserved, and we've totally more or less eradicated the goal difference as well. So a really positive result for us, Paddy. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was we had to be patient. Again, we're seeing it all season. Another team with a low block and not really given the space. But if you look at the Guardiola, if you look at the match today highlights, and it shows Pep standing on the sideline pointing into the space for the ball to be played for him to run onto. And once he started doing that, that's when he got the goal. But a lot of people seems to be what came out from me yesterday was at the end of the season for us, it used to be Gundogan or it could be Mahrez or whatever in the past. But certain players seem to step up and start scoring very important goals. And that didn't change yesterday. We Guardiola, he actually, I'm not surprised by it, because if you look at the interview, and I keep saying that on this podcast, if you look at the interview, go back to the interview when the two of them were interviewed with Man City, he's played in the left-hand side. He's played every position on the left-hand side of that park. So he's grown up playing that position. Yes, he was signed to the centre-back, but he offers a hell of a lot more than that. So obviously Pep gets the credits and saying he turned him into a world-class left-back. But in reality, he's always played somewhere on the left-hand side of that field.
But he has, because at the start of the season when he started playing as a left-back for us, he did look a bit shaky at times. And the improvement in him towards the end of this season is incredible. And we're seeing the rewards of that now. His goals, both his first goal and the touch for his second goal as well was it was so good. And we're seeing the best of him now. And an unsung hero again yesterday, Kovacic had a great game, I thought. Covered well, and even when we lost Aki in the first half, I thought, and in some ways it was a positive move, Aki going off anyway, because I think Akanji was getting caught out a few times at the start of the game. And with the substitution, it meant he moved over to the left-hand side, which seemed to suit him better in a way.
I think Aki will be back for Tuesday night, judging by his social media posts.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Steve.
The answer to Steve's question is.
Yeah, Steve, Stan, the legend, is good, but he's going to be dipping in and out for a little bit, just until he gets a bit more back to himself. But he loved being with us all last week. He really enjoyed it, and he thanks everybody for the good wishes and for making him feel so good to be back last week.
I think we may as well tell them the truth what happened, Emery, will we?
Go on, Paddy.
The reason why you have the B team tonight is Andy went abroad for an enlargement somewhere. I don't know where he was getting an enlargement in his body, but he just has an enlargement, and I think he brought Stan to hold his hand, so that's why the two of them are missing tonight. So that's why you have me and Anne-Marie.
Yeah, he couldn't take me.
I think he was getting his middle finger enlarged or something. I'm not sure what he was getting, maybe his nose or something. He didn't really go into it.
No, couldn't tell us.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you're stuck with me and Paddy.
Yeah. Josh was 23. I think he's 21, is he?
I don't know, but he's only young, so Keith's comments right.
Yeah. If you look at the spine of that team, they're very young. They're very, very young. So when the old brigade pass on, so look at the experience Foden has alone at 23 years of age. But just a question that I was asking Anne-Marie for the guys in the chat before we come on air. Foden's goal, the second one, the tackle on Bernardo Silva beforehand, where he was cleaned out. And he says at that time it was a good tackle, and he repeated that in Match of the Day. Like, if you look at the ball, it didn't change direction. So he cleaned the player out. And I'm just wondering, did they get away with that because Foden scored? And if Foden hadn't scored, would they have taken action? Because he didn't touch the ball. He just cleaned the player out. So it'd be interesting to hear our people's opinions on that.
But it's an interesting one, Paddy, because obviously Diop got sent off in the end. But he'd got away with a good 4 or 5 fouls before he was even booked in the first place. The referee was fairly lenient with things yesterday, I thought.
But you don't think that's par for the course for us? We get a lot of fouls, and it takes forever for a yellow card to make an appearance. Like Jack Grealish, when he plays, is booted off the park before eventually a yellow card comes. It need to be like a leg breaker before even that comes out.
I know, but it's one of those because I feel like we're just adding to the conspiracy theory that in years gone by that would never have been the case. It would have been your Uniteds, your Liverpools, their players would have been very well protected. And, if a yellow card would be awarded quite early on in the game, whereas we don't get that same protection, I don't feel.
Well, all you can do, like, I know you can say all the refs are against us or whatever, and we're not getting a fair crack of the whip, but all you can do is compare and contrast. Like, if you watch, say, 3-4 matches over the weekend, and you watch us, and you see the difference about what the kind of benchmark is they warrant a yellow card compared to team playing against us. And like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work it out that teams are getting away with blue murder against us. It's like that commentator, Alan Smith. That's what City have to expect against them. A near-on league breaker.
Well, it was like a few seasons ago. It might have been the second or third time we'd won the league. And Danny Murphy actually said that players should go in hard on us. And that's like an ex-professional suggesting that opposition players do go in to try and hurt us. And it's just out of order. And I know it's because it has a knock-on effect. If we're getting players injured because of bad, stupid tackles. I mean, a few years ago, there was a spate where I think Sane was done by Cardiff player. Sterling was done by Harry Kane. There was a few of them, and there was pictures of them that were clearly showing that there were red card tackles, and yet not one of the players in question got a red card. But that's unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. But we just have to hope that our players can come through it. And thankfully, with the exception of Aki, I think all our players came through yesterday's game. And I think, like you say, he's supposed to be okay for Tuesday.
I think Grealish took sick before the match. That's why he wasn't in the squad.
Yeah.
But he's not injured. He just took sick. Guardiola's second goal was like if Haaland or Silva or Foden touched that ball the way he touched, they'd be getting all the plaudits. Like it was just the slightest little touch, just he put it in the back. Like even it came too slow at the keeper. It actually went on to the keeper, and the keeper was like he wasn't expecting it, and it just trickled in.
Oh no, because they were all busy appealing for offside, and when you watch the replay, nobody was offside.
I think I think there was somebody off. Was it a Kanji?
I actually think it was Haaland who was offside, and they tried to say that it was a Kanji, but when you watch the replay, even a Kanji wasn't offside.
Yeah, but there was no way Guardiola was offside on me because that run was like he was 2 feet onside when that ball was delivered, and he ran back around the back of that defender and just touched it. Oh man! But I thought Haaland missed a sitter. The Kanji missed a sitter. Jesus Christ! Yeah. And you know what? And that's the other thing that came into my head when I seen a Kanji yesterday. And Haaland did the same. I think it was against United, where he tried to kick the ball at head height instead of heading the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody teaching him on that coaching field, head the ball. Like if it's at chest height or above, head it. Because
that one yesterday, particularly for a Kanji, it was crying out for a diving header.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's unusual for him because he normally pops up with a good enough goal. You know? Yeah. On his comment there, I'm only worried about refs and VAR. I think
you're right, Alec.
I think you're right to be worried because Tuesday night will tell a lot.
It certainly will. And so, having discussed yesterday's game, and I have to say, I thought we were brilliant. We played brilliantly yesterday. Looking forward to Tuesday and our visit to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do you know we went back to Manchester, Emery? We flew back after the Fulham game back to Manchester because they were training today in Manchester. I thought they'd have stayed in London.
Well, it depends on it would have made sense, but I suppose they've got all their home comforts in Manchester, haven't they?
Yeah, I just thought because I suppose if you're flying down and you're getting a coach over to the ground, it's like it wouldn't be like you're going down the motorway for 4 or 5 hours in a coach, if you're only popping across London. He flew into that city airport there in London from Manchester. So it probably did make sense to go home. But just a thing came up in the group yesterday. I'll just throw it out to the lads in the chat. Do you think Guardiola should have took that penalty or not? Or is there no room for sentiment in football because we were chasing down a goal difference at that stage? Do you think that even though he refused it, which was great to see, he didn't even hesitate. I know Walker offered it to him, but he refused it point blank. And then Mr. World Cup winner steps up and buries it. But just for the guys in the chat, do you think Guardiola should have taken it for the hat-trick? Because no defenders ever scored a hat-trick in the Premiership, I believe.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely, section. That was my feelings on it. Because we reduced that goal difference yesterday down to 2. I know it's 3 now after that shambles today. But I don't... And that's me being paranoid. Like, if we won our last 2 games, goal difference on this, unless we beat West Ham 10-0 at the end of unless we lose at Tottenham and beat West Ham 10-0, 10-0 come in there. But that'll be too much for me. I'm sick of them fucking last ditch moments. It's too much for the nerves.
It is. And there you go. I think Alec agrees with you.
Yes, exactly, Alec. Jesus Christ. It's too much. No, I mean, no. Like, we should beat West Ham, but you can see, and this is just me, and I know I can't shift that mindset, you know. Even when Akanji missed City yesterday, I thought, fuck, I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. No, I mean, I just have that mindset with us, but I can't shift it. But you can see West Ham taking a lead on Sunday.
Stranger things have happened, Paddy, and it's even like if you think back a couple of years to the Villa game, and Villa were 2-0 up, and we came back and won the game 3-2, and I swear it took me a week to get over that game because I just felt so emotionally drained after it. It didn't take me as long to get over the QPR one, but the Villa game, it took me a whole week to get over it because I was just wiped out after it. Because you've just got such a range of emotions.
We see it's probably worse for you because you're in the ground.
Mm.
Like, at least if my nerves are at me, which they normally do, I normally get up and I do something and I'll have it on in the background because I can't barely watch it. And then once you hear the voices going up, you know something's happening. You come in there and you have a look to see what was happening. But like them last minute games, even going back as far as Gillingham, Villa, QPR, and now we have it again now. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, can we not just win the league by a month to go sometimes, or lose even?
We've been there and done that as well, Paddy. Won it with a month to go.
That's great, isn't it?
It's a bit like the last day of the season and fighting relegation. We've been there as well, and it is just a sickening feeling watching the game.
I tend not to go there because I go into flashback mode. I get traumatized. Especially that, was it Liverpool with the
Liverpool with Niall Quinn running down the touchline telling them we needed to score.
Yeah.
Never forgive Alan Ball for that.
Alan Ball, you're one airfall. But that was Franny D trying to do things to cheap his mate.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't have did that, but look, that's in the distant past. But there's one thing that won't happen to us, even say when Pep does eventually go, because they're talking about, say, Bayern Munich can't get a manager, Liverpool are struggling. I think by all accounts, they've kind of settled on this fella called Snot. He's the best manager ever in the world now, of course. But that's why probably Man United won't sack their manager, because there's none out there. But it'd be a nice fit for us if it keeps going the way he's going. Is what Liverpool didn't get, Alonso. Because they're like, if they remain, they've won the treble and they have the chance they become invincibles. To the bargain, they're going to go the season unbeaten in all competitions. That's some going, like.
Certainly is. Jack, I think you're being a bit harsh there. We need to win against Spurs or we are a disgrace. That's not a fair thing to say because, at the end of the day, Spurs has always been a bogey ground for us. And they've played some good football this season. Yet they weren't great against Burnley. They've not been great for a few weeks, but the different team will turn up against us on Tuesday night. And that's a fact. And win, lose or draw, the fact that we're still in this position is full credit to the team and to our backroom staff. And you can't just say it's a disgrace on the back of one result. I think you're being a bit harsh, Jack, and we just need to kind of...
I get what you're saying, Jack, but I think you're comparing apples with oranges because, as Anne-Marie said, the Spurs team that you've seen against Burnley and against Arsenal and against whoever is not the Spurs team that are going to turn up against us. No, they might. There's a possibility. And there's anything can happen in football. But I don't think that the Spurs you've seen against Burnley will be the Spurs that will line out against us or play against us. They go back to Brazil 1970s. So I don't think we'll be the disgrace. We haven't won there, Jack. We've won in the FA, but we haven't won in the league, and we haven't scored a goal in the league. And all of a sudden now we're going to go in there and be expected to hammer them. I'd be happy with 1-0.
1-0 own goal suits me. So long as it's for us, I don't care.
Well, right. See, this is what I mean now in my mindset, right? Instead of yes, I would be happy with 1-0, and I'd be delighted with that because we obviously haven't won there in the league. But I'd be more happy with 5-0 because it means we can win to the last game of the season and still draw and won the league.
Yeah, but Arsenal might score a hatful against Everton.
Look, Everton are what we used to say on the beach. Everton are going to get destroyed. So we have to take it, and we have for the last few weeks that City have to win their last 2 games, come rain, hail or shine. No, it'd be nice if the Rags had got a result today, but the problem with that then, Anne-Marie, is they'll always have that over us.
Yeah.
We did you a favour, or we did this for you, or we did that, or we handed you the league. Or at least now they can't say that. So if we go on and won the league, we'd have won it under our own steam as the previous 3 seasons.
And I think that's the key factor. We've seen what we've been like over the last 3 seasons, and our mentality is unreal. Our team spirit is exceptional, and you can see that when we score, and nobody's left out of the celebration apart from Edison. But our players have been there and done that, and if you like, they've got the T-shirt, so they know exactly what the next 2 games need. Whereas Arsenal are sat there now, they'll feel happy because they won today, and they think that puts the pressure back on us, but they're counting on us losing and cocking up next week against West Ham, which I don't think will happen.
And if they are expecting us to mess up against Spurs, or Spurs to do them a favour, whatever. But the other side of that coin is, if we go on and win the league, we beat Spurs and we beat West Ham, the psychological damage that we'd inflict on Arsenal, which we have done for many years in the past against Liverpool. They had a points total that have won the league many times. But we went on and won the league. I think Liverpool got 99 points one season, didn't we? The season we got the 100. Go back in the history of the Premiership, 99 points, wins the league every time. So we'll destroy them psychologically. And this other nonsense that Sky are peddling, Liverpool have improved and Arsenal have improved, they have not. The reality of the situation is we have disimproved. This is probably, you couldn't compare that team, the team of the last 3 seasons. they're definitely not playing the way they were playing. We dropped points. We drew a lot of matches and we lost against Villa and whatever. So, like, we have actually disimproved rather than Arsenal or Liverpool improving or the league getting better. It hasn't. We've actually had a bit of an off season. So if we do get it over the line this year, it'll be probably the best out of all four of them. Coming to the position we came from.
Well, that's it. And this season, as a whole, if you look, we're on the brink of doing 4 titles in a row, and we'll be the first team to do the double if we win the FA Cup as well. You know, we can't kind of just take all this for granted. This is, you know, for me as a kid, this was living my dream. I would have been just happy to see us win 1 trophy, and what I've seen over the last 10 years is unreal. You know, I feel so lucky to be a City fan now. And even when we were shit, I still felt lucky to be a City fan. But now it's like dreamland.
On that point, that expectation, there's a certain our fan group had this sense of entitlement. I think the biggest example of that expectation is Rodri not making Player of the Year. He didn't make the top 8. And it's because Rodri performs at, say, an 8 or a 9 every match. So if he dips down to a 6 or 7, it stands out. So the reason why he didn't make them players, that Player of the Year, is because the people doing the voting have an expectation of Rodri to do what he do Rodri, basically. And you can't tell me he shouldn't be in that top 8. Yeah, I know Foden's in there, but Foden deserves to be in there.
Yeah, but I don't think isn't Saka missing from that top 8 as well?
But what's Saka done?
Not that I'm comparing the 2 players, but if you look at Arsenal this season, you would have to say that he was one of their standout players.
I don't think Saka gets the treatment our wingers get. Like Saka's always one-on-one with a player. When's the last time you seen Doku or Grealish or Silva or Foden out in the wings with one-on-one? Doesn't happen. It's 2 and 3. Haaland, 2 or 3 in the box. So like we're never left alone. But like as Stan said, our guru, when Haaland's occupying 2 or 3 players, that then leaves the space for Foden or Silva or De Bruyne, they step in. So, yes, you can mark Haaland and be busy marking Haaland, but you're taking the eye off the other ones who can score. Look what happened to Guardiola yesterday. The first time De Bruyne got a bit of space, he played that 1-2 game when he was in. And that finish for his first goal was a striker's finish.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go back over the games, you'll see that Saka, and any time that there is 2 on him, he normally does his usual crack and he limps off, pretends he's injured.
Well, he did that today, didn't he?
He did his usual crack, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was up against 2.
Wan-Bissaka, was it? No, it wasn't. It was either Wan-Bissaka or Dalot.
Was it Dalot, I think?
I think it was Dalot, you're right.
But like, so I don't think look, because he's English and he gets overhyped to saying we Bellingham and stuff like that. They get plaudits they don't get. I don't think you have to ask yourself the question: if Saka was sold to Man City for next season, do you think he'd play every game?
No.
Right. Well, that tells you all you need to know.
I'm not even confident he'd get into the team, Paddy.
He's a whiner. He whines and he whines and he whines. And if he doesn't get his own way, he pretends he's injured and he limps and he holds his leg and off he goes. He doesn't hit that one.
Saka is like Tom Daly, a diver.
Yeah. But he gets away with it. He gets away with it. Like, Arsenal are under the cosh. What do? They go down, fake injury, so Arteta can have a little team talk, team meeting.
Yeah, on the old touchline, you're right.
But it's very predictable. But like, taking Arsenal away from that Man City team, and I think if we do turn up on Tuesday night, despite what Spurs are going to throw at us, because they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us, I think, especially after watching that documentary on Netflix, I would like that team's mindset, that coolness, that calmness, that collectiveness, because we as fans don't have that. Them boys are nervous off the pitch. They're not nervous on the pitch. They want to be on the pitch. They want to make a difference. So once they're on the pitch, it's this is just another day at the office. We're on the sidelines, proving ourselves. I think we will, Tom. I'd agree with you. I do think we will win, but I don't think it'll be easy. Because we know it's like the guns are against our head now, basically. So we have to perform, and we always do when we have to do it. But like I think if the Rags had a score today, Arsenal would have crumbled.
I think they would have done, because they looked nervous all the way through that game today.
They sat back most of the time, sure, after they scored.
Yeah. But you can all think of me on Tuesday night, because I won't be able to sit and watch the game, unfortunately.
Why?
Why? Because I'm being a good Catholic girl and going to Mass because my niece is getting confirmed. I know. But the things you do for family, Paddy.
In there drinking some boy's blood and eating his body, you're off your head. You're a cannibal. Wow.
I know, but I have to keep my dad happy as well.
Be too hot in there for me. It was last time I was in there, they tried to drunk me and they called me names. My parents took photographs of it.
Yes. So think of me on Tuesday night. I'll be
on your phone.
I'll be on my phone. Yeah, I will. You're damn right.
You'll be on the live store. Refresh.
Thanks, DC. I do my best. I love my nieces and nephews dearly. What keeps me going. So, and I need someone to look after me when I get old.
You've high expectations.
I do, yeah. Oh, Spencer, don't worry. I'll be saying a prayer or two. Light a few candles as well.
Did you notice when Pep was getting interviewed yesterday and he had the jumper on, right? And Alan Shearer texted the reporter. He asked him, did he not find it hot inside that jumper? Which he probably did. But I think Pep's a little bit superstitious. I think I think that's his running jumper.
I think so. It's a bit like Mancini. He always had something in his left-hand pocket. It was something religious as well. But if you watch when we won the league that day, he had his hand in his left-hand pocket. He was holding on to whatever it was. So I think Mancini had a few superstitions as well.
Yeah, I just think even the way Pep answered that question, I think he has no way players have a ritual, a pre-match ritual, whatever, and if it's interrupted, that kind of disrupts their game or whatever, and it's all psychological, of course. But it's like your man, the Sean Singway at Everton,
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche with a tracksuit. Like he started when he went from the suit to the tracksuit. Everton started winning matches. I think Pep is the same. I think that's his lucky jumper, and I'd love to go back over the seasons and see if he was wearing that jumper.
Well, it's a bit like when he wore do you remember the big grey cardigan that he wore and we won the league that year?
Yeah.
And his wife picked that out for him and he wore it pretty much every game. So he probably is superstitious. But whatever works for him, he's doing a bloody great job.
Yeah, and I think
I had my lucky socks on yesterday.
Put them on Tuesday night.
Oh, don't you worry.
When you're in there eating some boy's body.
It doesn't sound great when you put it like that, Paddy.
Well, we have to deal in facts, like.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I know it's gluten-free and all this crack now, but you're still eating his body and drinking his blood. Get it into you. You know? Be like herself landing back and saying, I'm pregnant and God did it. And you're supposed to believe that. You're all right, yeah. Like she wasn't getting it on with 12 apostles. Get away with that. But anyway, we're not going down that road.
Yeah, we're drifting slightly off topic here. So
that's because we don't want to concentrate on what lies ahead. That's why.
Mm-hmm. So obviously we've got Tottenham Tuesday, and then we've got our last game of the season next Sunday, 4:00 against West Ham. And
oh God,
I don't like looking too far ahead, but it should be a great day. I'm gonna say I don't think we'll have a podcast at 7:00 next week, because by the time we get out the ground and they've got a concert on there next week if the thing finally opens. But do we all feel confident we're going to get a result against West Ham?
Well, it makes no difference about West Ham, Amory, if we don't beat Tottenham on Tuesday night. The league's over. So it'll either be an exciting last day or it's going to be a damn squid unless Everton turn it around, which they're not going to do. You know?
No, but then you say that, but then you would never have put money on Everton beating Liverpool.
Yeah, but they were fighting for their life then.
I know, but it's then so we could be in a position where, all being well, Villa beat Liverpool tomorrow night. Villa then confirm Champions League qualification, which then leaves Tottenham nothing to play for.
Yes.
On Tuesday.
The other thing I would say about Tottenham, and as I say, I do think we'll face a very different Spurs team against, I know what Jack's saying against Burnley, whatever. I don't think we'll face that team. But Ange has come out with a statement, and I think he came out a bit prematurely with it, to be honest with you, saying that half that team are not going to be there next season. So if you think you're going to be one of them players, are you seriously going to give your all against Man City on Tuesday night, knowing that the manager's getting ready at the end of the season? That's the only thing that'll work in our favour. There could be a sequence of events, right? As you say, if Villa beat the Liverpool on tomorrow night, it takes the emphasis off Spurs because there's nothing to play for then. Plus the fact Ange Ball has come out and said half that squad are going in the summer. So
this is what baffles me with these managers, and obviously we've heard what he's had to say, and if the rumours are true, pretty much the whole United squad are up for sale. It's not that easy for them to get rid of these players if they're on contracts, and particularly if you've got the likes of, Rashford, Maguire on the best part of 300 grand a week. Who's going to pay that for them?
They're not, but as I say, I hope Villa do beat Liverpool. and Spurs don't have anything to play for, and then you're left in with a mindset, well, he's getting rid of me in the summer. Why should I go out and give 100% when he goes and give two hoots about me? Like, I never understand that. Like, manager can be quite thick at times with the stuff they do. Like, why come out? I think it was 6 games left in the season when he said that. Like, why come out and why just keep your console, keep your powder, and keep your mouth shut, and then at the end of the season, then come out and say, well, half them players are not going to be there at the next year.
I know, but by coming out and saying it now, it takes the focus off him when things go wrong. It's not him, it's the players aren't good enough.
Yeah.
That's why he wants to get rid of them.
And like even as you say, right? Like I know you said it about the United team. If he thinks it's going to be like, especially with that Daniel Levy fella, if he thinks Daniel Levy's going to send any of them players at a loss, he's sadly mistaken. You know, and then you're left in with a scenario. Just to go back to the rags, you're left in with a scenario with Harry Maguire and McTominay, who they wanted to get rid of, who were star players this season. They wanted rid of them too at the start of the season. They weren't good enough. Like Harry Maguire nearly went to West Ham.
Yeah, but again, it came down to money, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that's my whole point. These players might well be out the door. And, you know, who's to say that come the end of the season, we're going to get Calvin Phillips back, aren't we?
He'd either be sold or go back out on loan.
I know, but if you watch what's gone on since he went in January, yeah, who's likely to take him?
Well, a mid-table team will take him, but they'll take him for 25 million. They won't give us what we paid 50 million for him.
No, and I wouldn't expect them to give us 50 million for him, but I'd be interested to see what kind of wage he was on as well, because they're going to have to take that into account. I don't think there's, and I could be totally wrong because I don't really know what any of the City players are on, but I don't think any of them are on that bad a deal.
I don't think they're on as much as we. I know Haaland and De Bruyne are on pay parity, but I don't think the rest of them are. I think Foden's on the same dough as De Bruyne. No, he probably will get a new contract or whatever, but I can't imagine Calvin Phillips was on between, say, 200 and 250 grand a week. He's not going to get that in a mid-late. Like, he's not going to get that at, say, he'd probably be very well suited at Everton. Or I was going to say Aston Villa, but you couldn't say Aston Villa because they've gone up a notch. So, like, you're looking at a mid-table team, and they're not going to be paying 200 or 250 grand a week for a player. No. Oh, here we go.
No, don't worry.
Hello. Tony must be bored, is he?
Well, he's gone now. Not having that. These people that are getting so hung up on our charges, and we need to I know what the rumours that we've all heard, but we need to kind of calm it down a bit, because last week we all presumed that Goldbridge had a cease and desist letter, which he never had. You know, nobody has had one. So I think we just need to chill a little bit on that and just wait and see, because I honestly believe there is truth in the rumours, but I don't think, you know, come the end of the season and probably during the summer break, I think we'll hear about what's happening then. And we just need to kind of just chill our boots a little bit before we start celebrating too wildly.
I can't see them, right, to be honest with you. Like, if they were say, proceeding, and they were going through the 115. They call them charges, but they're actually breaches. They're not charges; they're breaches. That's what people get the word history made up, confused with success. You've no history. Well, we were formed in 1894, and we won an FA Cup before most of the teams in the Premiership. So, yes, we have history. We mightn't have the success that your team have had, but that's because Sky pumped money in 1992. But to go through them 115 breaches, some of them are going to be cut and shut, and some of them are going to be a lot of information from a lot of companies and a lot of countries involved in them sponsorship deals. Are companies going to hand over that information?
No.
I don't think so. I can't see us being if they do keep at it. I can see us being free of them charges for the next 4 or 5 years.
But I don't think the Premier League can afford to drag it out that long, because they got, when you look at the stuff that's gone on with Everton and Forest this season, and is going to happen again at the start of next season with Leicester, the Premier League. Yeah, but the Premier League can't afford to let this drag out, because they're looking, and rightly so, they're looking really bad.
But it's different rules next season. That sustainability rules are gone.
I know, but I think Leicester are already in trouble for breaking the rules the previous season. That's my understanding of it. So as far as I know, Leicester will start on minus points next season in the Premier League.
Yeah. I get that they're trying to safeguard teams and all this kind of carry on, but how can Man United be safeguarded when they're over $1 billion in debt? If there was a global recession in the morning, and the banks called that money's in, say, look, we're calling the debts in. We need your money that you owe us to stay afloat. They can't pay it.
No, but the debt doesn't apply, does it? The debt doesn't come into it, which is frustrating, because if it did, they'd be in the worst position of anybody.
Yeah, but now they have changed. Now they've changed it again. That profit and sustainability rules. That is now, because that wasn't effective enough. Now they've changed now to, I think it's 70 or 80% of your income you can spend on players' fees and salaries. So how is, we'll say, Everton opposed to compete with Man United with their income? They were allowed to bring.
No, because it's based on, because everyone's on the same level playing field, Paddy. It's based on the lowest, and this isn't 100% definite yet. They've still not voted to put it through, but it's based on the lowest television income. So whoever's bottom of the league. So, for now, it's Sheffield United, isn't it? Sheffield United would get £105 million, roughly, television money, and it's based on that. So it's it's 80 or 90% of that. I've not explained it very well, but it's to do with. So it's not about who's bringing in the most money. It's about having a more level playing field, if you like. So everyone's based on the lowest team in the Premier League.
I thought it was overall income.
That wasn't my understanding of it, but whatever it was, it's not been voted in yet, because Aston Villa, City, United voted against it, and Chelsea abstained.
That was for a player's wages cap.
No, it wasn't for a wages cap. That was for the income.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like when we talk about it, we're banging our head against a brick wall because there's no there's
there you
no.
go. Keith knows what I'm on about.
So it's 5 times the lowest TV money.
Yeah.
So whatever who's earning the lowest in TV revenue.
Yeah, and I think last season when Southampton went down, it was £105 million.
But now you can see why United and Arsenal and Liverpool wanted the European Super League. Because
well, of course they did, but again, all these clubs, because there's no way in this world, we know United have got a massive debt. We also know Liverpool are going to have a debt of some description because the amount of rebuilding they've done to Anfield and various things will have cost them. Arsenal, I don't know about, but those three are out to protect themselves at all costs.
Did you see the management positions of the European Super League?
No.
Arsenal and Liverpool were the owners were vice presidents.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
And United was, I think it was president. But there was no room at the table for the likes of, I think it was Spurs, Chelsea, and us was the last three. We had no position on the board. But Liverpool, Arsenal, and United had positions on the board.
But that's exactly the thing. It's, and Newcastle are going to come across the same thing. Should they start building the way we did, they will not be accepted into the cartel because we're classed as new money, oil money. So we're never going to be accepted into that clique of clubs. And it's the same way as, if you look at the clubs that wrote to the Premier League about us, where did Burnley get off writing complaining to the Premier League about City?
Because they were probably given a backhander by Liverpool or Man United or Arsenal.
Yeah, very possibly, but
all the tournaments they will give you a player if you vote with us against Man City. We'll give you an old player there on the down low. We'll give you an old player cheap there. Like there's no other reason why Burnley did that. Only they were promised a backhander. But like you've had Liverpool, Arsenal, United since 1992 from the Sky money come in. They had free reign. They built a global brand. They built their global brand. And then Chelsea came along and they wanted a slice of the pie. That was kind of tolerated. Man City came along. That was tolerated for a couple of years. And then they thought, right, financial fair play. So the likes of Newcastle will never grow outside of Newcastle.
No.
So they can't compete. So Arsenal, Liverpool, United have established fan bases now all over the world where Newcastle will never get the chance to do that. We have a marketing team in that club that's beyond belief.
Yeah, it's true. We do. You only need to look at some of the videos they put out. But it's never, the financial fair play thing has never made sense to me because we've been done, and my understanding is rightly so, in the early days of the financial fair play. We've never, since the Sheikh's taken over, we've never had any debt. And yet you've got the club down the road there who's in stupid amounts of debt, and they can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want.
And see Alex comment there about the Liverpool hacking our academy, our academy and scouting database. If that had been the other way around, there's no way Liverpool would have accepted £1 million off us, and there'd been a hell of a lot more made of it. It's never mentioned. You'll never hear that in Sky, or you'll never hear it in TNT, as they call themselves now, BT Sports. You'll never hear it. Man City should never, ever, ever accepted £1 million from Liverpool for what he did. They had ammunition to fire, and they threw the opportunity away. Where if that had been the other way around, that wouldn't have happened.
My understanding, though, from what I know of our owners, it's not their way to go and not make enemies, but they don't really like to stir it up, do they?
Well, that's fairly evident because, as I said before in this podcast, if them 115 breaches was a criminal case, they'd have to move that court case to Outer Mongolia, because there's no way in this wild earthly world you would get a fair trial anywhere in the UK or Europe with the amount of media attention that it has attracted. You have that agent over in Spain, that president, whatever you call him, Tariq, who non-stop verbal abuse about Man City and oil money and this or whatever. You have the same here, the national broadcasters of sports, Sky Sports, TNT Sports, talk shite. Free reign, get in there and give it to them. Because what? Because they're playing to the gallery. Because the gallery's red. Where, like, we have, for me, we have tried the approach, turn the other cheek. It hasn't worked. Like, they've only seen us turning the other cheek as a sign of weakness. Now, Caldoun said, "Oh, I'll give a brutal interview," or whatever. I'd love to see it. I don't think it's going to happen. Why doesn't he start calling Man United out? Why isn't he calling the Premier League out and saying, "Here, hold on a minute. One of your main teams, Man United, are 1.17 billion in debt. How is that sustainable?"
And who's to say, Paddy, that he won't do that after the charges? But we don't know that. We don't know what discussions go on in the background, do we?
There's no way that Caldoun will stand up on any TV camera and do that.
No.
Because you know why? Because they all drink out of the same well, every last one of them. Every one of them, they drink in the same circles, they mix in the same circles, they meet in the same circles. We think that we're going to drop a big stone.
If you just look at it in terms of, it's the Barclays Premier League, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Barclays very nearly went tits up.
Yeah.
Who bailed them out?
So we know that, but they come away from Barclays. Look what he did for East Manchester.
Yeah.
No credit.
None whatsoever.
No credit. That campus on East Manchester, I know there was an aerial photograph taken of it and people kind of forget about it. But if you look at that campus in its entirety from that overhead aerial view, and the money that man has generated for East Manchester, employed in the East Manchester, and created X number of jobs, and all he gets is oil money this and oil money that, and it's just, you have to learn to turn off, because yeah, he plowed money in at the start, but I think for the last 10 or 11 years, because of our success, we've been generating our own money. And like every other clever sponsorship, you always back the winning horse. Like you see now, especially here in Ireland, loads of youngsters with Man City shirts on. Loads of them. Where before it was all red. And even a fella I trained with in the gym, his wife's from Mexico. Man City shirts. She comes from. Never before, ever. So, core sponsorships companies are going to come and say, look, we'll sponsor this. They sponsor the bridge, they sponsor this, they sponsor everything. You know? Like, it's just... It's unbelievable. Like, and anybody that doubts what that man has done for never mind what he's done on the pitch, have a look at that aerial photograph of that campus. And like, don't forget, we travelled for about 2.5 years, visiting every ground in the world. And we approached it with an eclectic approach, took the good bits off every one of them, and we put it all together in East Manchester. And now look at it. Look at the stadium the women play in. Look at the stadium the EDS play in. They all come in through the front door, every last one of them. There's no side entrances, there's no back entrances, or your team, you go in there, you're female, you go in there. They all go in that front door. And they're all met with the same receptionist and admin team.
Yeah, and we have to give a big shout out to our youth team on winning the Youth Cup on Friday night. Mm-hmm. It was a great victory and well deserved. And also a big shout out to City Women and a good luck to them on Saturday. I think it is against Villa. I know at the minute Chelsea have still got a game in hand and they go to Old Trafford the last day of the season. And United have just won the Women's FA Cup today. So good luck and a big shout out to City Women on Saturday. Get the job done against Villa, and all being well, we'll be winning the title.
Yeah. So, has anyone in the chat any idea who we're signing? Because we're not getting linked with anyone, I don't think.
It's too early yet. Give it another week or so, Paddy. We'll get linked with everybody.
I'd like to be linked with Isco. We haven't been linked with him in a few years. It's very disappointing.
You summed it up very well there, Alex. City Women better than Ragmen's. Very true.
It wouldn't be hard.
No.
It's hardly a compliment. It's probably an insult to compare the women against that, sure.
There's an answer for you, Paddy.
Isco, when we have a disco. I'm afraid the days of Isco are gone. I know that young fella Hamilton, who made a few appearances for us throughout the year, he'll be coming up to the first team next year. He'll be signing for the first team next year. So that'll be another one off the conveyor belt who never gets spoke about because it's Man City. Man City buy players and they don't take players and they don't
create players.
You know,
you only need to look at Oscar Bob, because I tell you something. The more I see of him, the more of a player he's going to be.
I'd tell you something now. You want to be watching him in slow motion because his feet are. He's like Michael Flatley, the Irish dancer. His feet are blurred. He'd move that fast.
Alec, that's a little bit harsh. They're probably on hormone replacement therapy.
Well, Liverpool are on every Liverpool player is an asthmatic apparently. You know, I don't know what percentage of the population is asthmatic in the UK, but Jesus Christ, they all play for Liverpool by the sound of it.
Allegedly, Paddy. Allegedly.
Allegedly, sorry. That's that word that gets you out of a hell of a lot. Allegedly. You can say whatever you want as long as you say allegedly. You know? No, Steve, I missed that disco, I'm afraid. I must have been asleep.
Right, folks, I think we'll call it a day. And all being well, the next time we meet up, we'll be celebrating another Champions Trophy. And as always, it's only next week.
Yeah. What are we going to do for summer?
I don't know. We might get a
Oh,
week off.
gee.
Do you think we'll get paid leave, Paddy?
Wouldn't mind it.
I don't think
Jesus,
we'll
3
get
months
paid
or
leave.
something.
I think we'll just get laid off for the summer.
Well, I suppose he's after getting the paying for that a new member, or I mean enlargement. There might be a bit of chunk change after that. I know he got a few sponsorships in there, you know. So
Probably.
there might be an old few bob for us to cover, so we don't get furlonged over the summer, you know. But all
We live in hope.
But like Stan, if we get Stan is going on with them, the expenses they're flying business class apparently. So
yeah, he needs the extra leg room, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So anyway, as always,
he's coming back with extra leg room.
Yes.
Apparently.
In a wheelbarrow.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So, as always, thanks to everybody in the chat. We couldn't do this without you. As always, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to celebrating together.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully, now we see you. Next time we see you, we'll be champions again.
Yeah. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye, folks.